Hi everyone, it's Olga Zarr from SEO Sly. Welcome to SEO podcast by SEO Sly. Today I have a very special guest. This is John Wright. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have you here. I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation. John, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you are up to, like what do you do?
Yes. Okay, I'll start from the beginning, which I went to school for engineering. I did robotics and AI. So I studied mechanical engineering, and I stumbled into affiliate marketing by mistake. But before I got to that point, I got into professional gambling, and I did that all online. So this was at a
Oh,
time when people didn't think it was possible. It was a very new industry, and I had a lot of friends and family that looked down upon what I was doing. But I said, if it doesn't work out, I'll get an engineering job and I'll figure it out. Then I got some work setting up online casinos and running the affiliate department. I got an insight to how much money affiliate marketers in gambling were making, and obviously I could kind of understand that this is my first experience in SEO. I said, this is what they're doing to generate all the traffic. So in 2010, I started building my own affiliate sites and learning SEO. So I'm not going to say that I'm the best SEO in the space. I like to consider myself more of a lazy SEO. I like the easy wins like everyone else. So when I have that opportunity for those easy wins, I take advantage of them. And that's kind of led me into a very strange path of being more in the B2B space. So
uh-huh.
while people are focusing on trying to build affiliate sites that focus on players, I've been building sites that focus on the affiliates. And I've always been
Okay.
interested in SEO from early days. And I always know that there's other SEOs that can do a better job than I can, but I'm just taking my B2B experience and going, let me make this work in my space where I actually have more fun doing it.
Wow. This is super interesting. Can you tell me more about like those affiliate sites? Like what's your process? What can you share with me as much as you can?
Yeah. Well, I'll take a step back. And about a month ago, I did a couple polls in some SEO communities like Facebook and LinkedIn. And I said, this is a very valuable and lucrative industry. What's stopping from SEO people from coming into this space and dominating it? Because if you're good at SEO and you know how to rank a website, what is your roadblock? And the number one answer that was responded was that they felt they didn't have industry knowledge. So that makes sense because
Uh-huh.
for me, I became a professional gambler. So I had my own industry knowledge at a very deep level, and I was able to build my content into that. And the second thing that kind of came to light was that affiliates felt like, or SEOs didn't feel like they had the tools. So, of course, you type in a bunch of keywords and you say, okay, best online casinos in United Kingdom. You're going to find, of course, the top ranking websites. And what you're going to notice is that the ads that are there, they're not banners, they're curated lists, CSS,
Yeah.
HTML, and obviously there's a database behind it. So I think there's a lot of SEOs that are intimidated going, I have to build this very big backend that's going to take months and a lot of money. So yeah, I do think, it's the industry experience. It sounds kind of common sense that you need it, but I actually believe it's not so difficult to gain that experience in a short period of time. Like I've trained a
Uh-huh.
lot of content writers that have no experience in gambling on how to actually write casino reviews and what to look out for. And I believe this process is pretty easy, but I think a lot of people, they just get intimidated, by this industry saying, okay, I need to be an expert. And my personal opinion is there are better SEOs outside of gaming than there are inside. The ones that are inside, they've got in early and they understand the inner workings. But I personally
Mhm.
believe that any SEO that wants to come in this space, they're going to have an easy time if you know what you're doing.
Oh, okay. I think one of the things that also like especially maybe less advanced SEOs they think that there are those new updates Google is rolling out, like Google product reviews updates, and Google is like becoming more and more vocal about your experience. Now they added E to the EAT.
Yes.
Whether you have actually like seen the product, you have actually like have first-hand experience with that product, and what's your take on it? Because if I want to like review, for example, running watches, I would have to do I have to like have them all tested and taken pictures of them, like where do you stand in that?
Yeah. Um, I'm going to be a bit more opinionated on it, and I don't know if you share the same
Sure.
philosophy, but I kind of think that, we obviously keep reading in the background that a lot of this AI content is starting to become a big thing. And we're all kind of scared about, like, is this going to put SEOs and content writers out of business? But I think with a search engine like Google, I think they want to reward more real people and realness. And
Yeah.
realness is, for me, two things. It's either video or showing that you actually have an intimate knowledge of that product or service or whatever it is. So you're not just like spinning content or AI content and producing something that can be automated. So if you're kind of like, that personal blog that says, hey, this is my experience, I think that's your opportunity to get there. And I believe I'm seeing changes within the gambling affiliate community where some sites that were ranking and dominating for a long time, they become so big and so corporate that I believe they're actually losing their power. Like, for example, this only happened less than a week ago, that one of the biggest sites in the industry called AskGamblers.com, they sold for a massive amount of money, but it was far less than what us believed it would have sold for. It sold for $45 million. The site previously was acquired for 15 million euros. So that's only a 3-time multiplier. That's amazing, growth in
Yeah.
5 to 6 years. But we all expected this to be at 100x, like a big, major return. And when I look at that site, I just feel that it's very cold and sterile. Like, there's no person, you hardly see any names behind it from an author perspective. And I believe that the types of content that are kind of coming to the surface have a real person behind it, and they're also very consistent at it. Like, they're not like these not one page websites, but a website that has just 10 pages, or it's got like, a soulless content behind it. That's what I like about B2B content, because it's very difficult to fake that. Like, for what you do as an SEO consultant, it's you put your experience behind it, and it's you as the brand.
Yeah, that's I would say very, very comforting, because there was like some points in the affiliate SEO that like big sites, like sites that usually never reviewed stuff, like, I don't know, even like New York Times, maybe, if I'm correct, like all those huge sites started to review stuff because they noticed that there's a lot of money behind it, and very often those sites rank above those like personal blogs of a person who actually has passion for it. And at some point, it for many like products, for many keywords, this is almost impossible to outrank them. And it would really be nice to see a small reverse, a small change regarding that, because sometimes when I do keyword research for an affiliate site, and when I see who's ranking currently, I know that I probably don't want to even touch that. But what would be your strategy if someone wanted to create an affiliate site from scratch? Would you recommend buying an existing site or creating one from scratch?
I'd almost say create it from scratch. And I mean, I know it's going to sound like a lot of common advice, which is like, make it yours and make your USP you. But I really believe that, of course, we know that like a New York Times, they are an authority website, and the people behind it are also authority writers.
Yeah.
Like, they're not ordinary people. Like, they've got like a lot of editing experience, and they put a lot of research in it. So pretend that you are working for New York Times and put yourself in that persona and go, what are they going to do to produce that article? Like, how much time are they going to put into it? And then you realize that's a big separation from affiliates that get started and tried copying other people and like basically doing 1/3 of the work, versus going, treat this like, it was your job, as if you're going to get paid for it. If you put on that hat and say, I'm going to be a serious editor, and I'm going to produce the best content I could possibly do, I'd say if you focus with that, your USPs are going to follow. Like, I sometimes hate saying, because it sounds like common sense, but what I've seen, like, I've done affiliate coaching in the last 10 years, and I've seen a lot of affiliates, they all do the lazy thing. They all want that get rich quick scheme, and that's always going to sell. It's like, I think people selling those get rich quick affiliate schemes are always going to make lots of money. But if you as the affiliate want to get started, it's go, know what other people do that's going to fail, which is basically half the effort and expecting the returns to be today, not waiting for them in a couple of months. And, put on your hat, learn writing or learn video. Like, I think video is going to be a very powerful thing, where I think, we both know this a bit well. The more video you do, you get comfortable with it. And we know there's a lot of people in the background going, oh, I wish I could do that. And it's like, well, you can. You just have to You just have to get started, and you have to be willing to, make mistakes, and you have to be willing to go, how can I make this better, whether it's video or content.
So you do affiliate SEO, affiliate coaching, right? Tell me more about this.
Well, it was more affiliate coaching with some SEO, but I personally enjoyed the design and conversion rate optimization aspect of it, where I believe conversion rate optimization goes hand in hand with SEO. So I like to focus more on that because, like I said, I'm the lazy SEO. It's like I can use a lot of these SEO tools, but when I see someone that does SEO full time, I say, you know what, you're always probably going to be better than me at that. But I've always worked with some of these startup affiliates where they've got like a very like their skill sets are maybe in a totally different industry, so they have to learn and build some of these things. And I've always say like the foundation of SEO is extremely important, so you have to at least master that. And what I like to encourage affiliates to do is, especially starting off, is go try to do something that you're going to have an easy win. So it's going to be that niche blog post topic that you're going to see some traffic, because if you write about a super competitive keyword like online casinos and you spend a couple hours doing it and you get no traffic, it's kind of disheartening. So it's like, do something that's super niche and you actually get excited about it. Like it's the more niche you go as a website or even the content piece, the better chance you might actually have that you'll get that success.
Yeah, but when it comes to monetization, of course it depends, but usually I think the opportunities may be a bit worse if you like are super niche, like one type of, I don't know, one type of running watch,
Yeah.
specifically this one type, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. And that's a tough one because, I mean, I have the experience on one side of knowing how the industry works, where the money is. But, if you're going into this and you're saying, okay, I'm going to do gambling, but I'm really into bingo, then go into the bingo niche because you're going to have an easy time working on it. Like if you're focused on going, what makes the most money, the funnels always seem to go straight to casino. Like most bookmakers have a casino, and a lot of their players, like when you imagine you place a bet on the World Cup final, and it's like you have to wait a couple days for that event to happen. There's only so much that bookmaker can make, whereas a casino, it's like you can constantly play. So the revenue's there, but just because the revenue's there doesn't mean you should ignore like sports betting or bingo or lottery or whatever. So my first opinion today is like go after lottery, where half the world plays lottery, and it's a very untapped niche within gambling.
Okay. And like, tell me, because you said where the money is. So where is it?
It's really in casino, but casino is very saturated. And like I said, it's every angle within casino. Like we're talking about game keywords, like live dealer casino, Keno, Baccarat, Blackjack, video poker. There's a lot of games. And for me personally, I think the more niche you go, you have that opportunity today. I don't know if that opportunity is going to change in the next couple of years, but we've obviously seen a lot of changes in video. Like YouTube is very powerful. Even LinkedIn with video is powerful on its own. And, we're watching people, do this on Twitch where they're making like really large amounts of money. They're kind of like the new affiliates I see, but they're not the only type. It's we're saturated with not just casino as a topic, but everyone's been doing blog posts and casino reviews. So it's like, what's going to make your thing stand out? And if you look at a guy named Brian Christopher, he's been doing videos, I'm not sure for how long, but, he's become like basically the #1 gambling streamer, in the world, in my opinion. And he's ultra successful, and that's created more opportunities for him. And he just goes to the casino and, he's playing slots and he's just talking his way through it and having fun. And, he does a better job than what I'm describing there. But I mean, I think there's a massive opportunity of like, if people are willing to probably sponsor you and pay you as an affiliate to just like play video games, like why not do that when you're playing slots?
Yeah.
Even if you're playing for free and saying, hey, look, I'm playing for free. I'm not doing this for real money, but I'm still having fun. Let's chat.
Yeah, cool. And can you walk me through like the structure? Like how do you structure the affiliate casino website? Because I guess there may be some differences because SEOs mostly, I think they think about affiliate sites like the sites that review some products, some types of products.
That's a really tough question because I sometimes see changes. Like everything's been kind of standard for, in my opinion, the last 10 to 20 years, where you've got your blog content, you've got your core pages, you've got your casino reviews. I'm starting to see more comparisons happening. Like those are interesting. And then, videos kind of coming out of nowhere. So whenever I have to answer that question to someone that says, hey, I want to get started, like what kind of structure should I build? There's a bit of research in it. Like if they're going in a super competitive niche, I'm going to say, I recommend you don't even go in that direction. I'd say, I'm not willing to help you because you're going to waste your time and you're swimming up current where you're not going to make any progress. So it's, if you're going to focus on, let's say, just English and it's going to be casino, then what I'm going to do is go, okay, let's do a bit of research. Let's see how deep we can go. Because it's like, as time goes on, these niches kind of get a bit more covered. And some of the bigger sites, they're aware of these holes of the niches. So these larger affiliate groups, some of them have like 10,000 plus gambling websites. And it's not just in English, it's in different parts of the world. So, it's tough. I'd say whatever you do, be consistent. And I usually help with that kind of roadmap of going, let's kind of map out the content. Let's create content templates. So if it's going to be casino or lottery reviews, then we're going to create the template and go, how can we make it slightly unique that it's beyond your standard content and just make it a little different?
And is it like because I know because I don't have like almost any experience with casino SEO, casino sites, but I remember like a few years ago or something, it was like you weren't allowed to, for example, sell links to on casino websites specifically. Of course, you aren't allowed to sell links anyway, but you were like risking of being like banned. Like it was more riskier than like having normal links. And I think you couldn't have AdSense on your website if you are endorsing a casino sites. Does it like make it harder for you to monetize with ads, or you don't monetize with ads?
I think the answer to that is if those sites weren't selling those links, whether they're going to an affiliate site or an operator site, if those links stop happening, then we'd know that the penalties were either too severe or there wasn't enough money in it. The fact that this is still growing and growing and growing tells you that there's actually a lot of money behind it, more money than the AdSense would pay you. So it's if you look at how much links cost in the gambling space, it's one of the more generous things. It's you might look at it like when I compare what I have to do for, not just building links for my own SaaS company. It's like, whenever I get encountered with like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost. It's a fraction of gambling. It's we're talking like, okay, a link for a very powerful link for my site, I might be offered like $50 or $75, and on that on a casino site that's not even a very good site can be like $500 easily. So once you start doing a bit of research on the pricing, it takes like 5 minutes. You just you do your Ahrefs link reports, find some good websites, find out who's linking to them, get the last 30 days worth of links, contact those sites and how much does it cost, and you're going to get all the prices. I mean, it's very good.
Okay. And regarding backlinks and casino websites, I know there are still some niches, a lot of niches, even with affiliate, where you can build a lot of content and rank it without backlinks, at least initially, up till some point. How is it here?
You know what? That's actually really strange because, I used to be a big believer that you always needed links for everything. And usually there's data to back that up. Like, we go straight into Ahrefs and there's always that correlation. Here's your traffic, here's your links. And usually they kind of go hand in hand. I know a couple of affiliates, and I won't mention their names or their websites, but they earn very good money. And we're talking like 1 million or more per year. And they do no effort on link building. They don't even try. They never want to buy a link. So whenever I say, hey, I know someone who's got a really good deal, they're like, no, I'm good. And what they do is, they're very good at content marketing, and they're very happy to kind of go further and further into it. So the way they both approach their websites is the way I try to coach people and say, you know what, if I'm going to tell you to look at 2 websites, I'm going to say, go look at their collection of sites and look at how they write. Because these owners, they don't hire writers. They do most of the writing themselves, and they get right into the product. And some of them even do B2B content. So every time I see what they do, like they tell me how much money they make, and I know they're not lying because they've got the lifestyle to back that up. And I'm just surprised that you're able to still do this to this day without any real link building.
Yeah, that's
it's rare though, but it's you know what, when this still works, I'm like, go copy them and try to reverse engineer how they do content. And people try copying them all the time, but like I said from the early start of this convo, people do 1/3 of their effort, and they're like, "Why is this
Yeah.
not working?" And it's like, well,
Yeah.
these guys they put in all the effort and they do it consistently. It's nonstop for 5 years, 2 years on another website, 10 years for another website.
Until you like see some real results.
Yeah.
So how many websites do you have? Can you share?
Right now, we have very minimal websites. We actually sold a lot of our B2C affiliate websites. We focus on B2B only. So we have a couple sites that do affiliate program reviews, and it's like I said, it's that B2B content. I'm the lazy SEO. I like being in this space. I have less competition, but it also goes hand in hand with the software I'm building. So of course, what I do in the B2B content space really supports what I'm doing from a software perspective. So I'm enjoying doing this content. Like, I've done affiliate coaching for a long time, so I'm happy to talk about SEO, conversion rate optimization, SEO strategies, and everything that, SEO and affiliate marketing are really, they go hand in hand. And it's, I find it interesting when I talk to SEOs that they dabble in their own affiliate sites and they actually get really strong at it. And, it's, I find it fascinating.
Yeah, sure. And so tell me maybe about like how often do you recommend creating content? How do you like find a huge difference
Yeah.
if someone publishes like twice a day versus twice a month? How many pages should a website have until it starts to like see some traction?
Yeah. From a practical point of view, you're literally asking the wrong person, because I'm that lazy SEO. But
Yeah.
when it comes to B2B content, I get excited about writing it. So we are literally still building our B2B content strategy as we speak. We just started doing interviews in the last couple of weeks, and we're getting phenomenal results from it. We're just starting to do video reviews as well. So in terms of like, what's good, it's I like looking at what my two friends do, that they do amazing content without any link building, and I try to copy as much of that as possible. And it's I think with what I'm trying to do, and what I see you do as well, is that you talk to people and you get a chance to kind of learn a couple things and share that with everyone else, which there's no charge, and the spin-offs of it are just it's immensely beneficial. I think there's a lot of people that look at, things like podcasts and interviews and go, why am I doing this? But when you start doing it, it's always been powerful. Like, it goes with it saying people like to either talk about themselves or they like to see themselves being shared. And, we've got an infinite platform on the internet to do whatever you want. And when you create your own audiences and you're able to shine that light on someone else, it's, it's very powerful. And, we're just getting started in trying to do that. So that's why I was kind of excited to have a chance to watch watch your podcast and take some notes. And
yeah, sure. That's really awesome. So do you have like a YouTube channel?
we have a YouTube channel, but we actually haven't put a lot of effort into it. So where we are in this year is we've actually just only done a couple of videos. So we are going to be posting them in the new year on YouTube. We're also going to take snippets of them and basically repurpose them for like LinkedIn, Facebook, and all that stuff.
Okay.
And we're actually discussing amongst ourselves if we want to make an official podcast. Because when you do a video interview, it's like, well, is this an interview or a podcast? It doesn't really matter what you call it. It just depends if you want to turn it into a podcast, so you can publish on, let's say, iTunes and Spotify and all that. So I follow a guy named Tom Hunt on LinkedIn. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he does ring a bell.
It rings a bell.
Okay. He does B2B podcasts, coaching, and all that stuff. And he's got some software that's more focused for B2B podcasts. So we're looking at working together. And I've been watching, a lot of his advice, and he shares a lot of it on LinkedIn for free. And he did a post literally, I think it was a day ago. And he's like, I want to show or highlight something where people are doing podcasts as their own brand, like a separate brand from the main brand. So it's kind of like, I'm forgetting the name, but it's like, Bootstrappers is done by Acquiry or something like that. I can't remember the name, but I'm probably just messed up. But it's really interesting that it's like you can have the podcast as its brand within the brand, but you can have it as a separate brand, which you're just basically going, you know what, we're not kind of connecting the two, but it's obviously the sponsor is, this company over here. And so we're looking at doing that next year, where when I watch other people do this, I'm just seeing how powerful it is on SaaS companies alone. So to me, it's like anything B2B is super powerful, and B2C is always going to be around. And I kind of look at that as full circles. Like, look at your content marketing and going, who are your competitors? Like, are you doing podcasting in a real estate sector that's super competitive, or is it really low hanging fruit? It's I believe that the more you look at podcasting, we're still in the early days of this low hanging
Yeah.
fruit.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so you said you can share a bit about conversion optimization. So can you share some tips around that for affiliate websites?
Yeah.
Other than putting like links in some above the fold.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick to something that's really basic that anyone can do. There's a lot of heat map software out there, and the one that I like using is called Hotjar. So they're not the only one, but they're my favorite because they have a free version that you can get started. Where the more data you have, the more the results come to life. So because I've done my own website designs on my own like data-driven sites, whenever I do a redesign, I would have Hotjar on the previous one and the new version. And I want to
Okay.
test to see, have I made a design that's actually increased the conversion? Because your stats all come to life. Like your SEO, your analytics will tell you if things are going well or not. And your revenue and your commissions on the other side will also tell you that. And then you also have your heat map results where they should come to life. So I've done designs where I think it's going to improve, but it's all a hypothesis. And sometimes I'm wrong. So the more I do this, the better I get at it. So I know for a fact that most affiliate sites have never used any sort of A/B split testing or heat map software.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top ranking affiliate sites, you start looking under the hood and go, what is this built with? Like, what kind of CMS or what kind of technologies are running in the background? And the more you start seeing like Hotjar or A/B Tastely, then you're starting to learn. It's like these guys focus on that. So I'm not saying go to those affiliate sites and copy their designs, but they've done the testing. So when you do this on your own website, look at pages and go, like, learn something about your site that you're not even sure is a thing. Like I look at this software on my own, like sometimes terms and conditions pages, frequently asked questions. I'm like, let me see how intuitive things are. And I've learned recently that our homepage, we actually had a purple button because purple is our main color of our company. And the purple button was just not hitting. So it had the perfect contrast. It was dark purple on white. Sounds logical, but we go full circle back to Bob, bright orange button. Bob has been known as being one of the best converting buttons. Now, if you have orange on a yellow background, the contrast is going to be zero.
Yeah.
So, it takes time to learn the fundamentals of conversion rate optimization, but heat maps will just do most of that work for you because you're going to get this map, which is literally a heat map. And where your calls to action should be, that's what should be lit up. And if it's not lit up, then you have a conversion problem. And either heat map software is going to tell you this, or your lack of revenue is going to tell you that as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. And can you share some of the mistakes you see people make, like regarding affiliate sites, even regarding conversion optimization?
Oh, that's a really tough question. Most affiliate programs to this day still give you banners. So whenever I see an affiliate site that's using an actual banner, I think this is terrible. I think I've heard something like more than half the world is using some form of ad blocking technology. So banners are the easiest thing to block. And I believe that most affiliate programs don't have a strong understanding of conversion rate optimization. Their job is like, get more affiliates, make more money. That's how it works, right? And it's like, maybe you don't need more affiliates. Maybe you can actually double your conversion rate by having not just the right banner, but the right ad. So I just think that there's a lot of affiliates that they're just kind of throwing stuff on there and they think that they need more ads. And it's a really hard thing to understand that this whole concept of less is more. Like, when you go on a nice blog or a certain type of, even an e-commerce site, and the ones that just seem to convert better are like, they just have less on there. As a designer, it's very difficult to take stuff off and go, I'm going to take 1 or 2 items off because you want your eyes to really focus on what's important. So if the text is important, how can you make it such that it's not just a wall of text that we all get bored of? Like, even think about Wikipedia. You go to Wikipedia and it's like, okay, it's very text-based. Sometimes there are images, but everything's formatted. And that goes hand in hand with content. You've got the bolds, you've got the internal linkings. And if you go to a lot of websites that don't rank well, which are really difficult to find because you got to go on page 20. So here's the sites. It's so easy to look at them and it's easy for us to look at someone else's site and go, this is exactly what you're doing wrong. But when you're sitting in that seat and that's your own site,
Yeah.
and you're focused on going, what do I do to get more SEO traffic? You kind of ignore that low hanging fruit. And anytime I've actually done, I don't even know if there's a word for it. I call it content pruning or pruning of
Yeah.
your website. It's you start going, okay, let me add the bolds, the internal linkings. We need an image. Okay, sure, you're going to do the alt text. It's that dressing up of your content, regardless of even updating it, is what starts to reduce your bounce rate and increase the time on site, more pages per visitor. This helps conversion, but I always believe that this always helps SEO as well.
Yeah. That's a really nice piece of advice again. Okay, so is there some advanced hack you can share as well? I'm pretty sure you have a
Oh,
lot of them
that's a tough one.
on
It's
your mind.
I don't want to be too self-promotional, but we're trying to build ad
Please
tools
be.
that can take a lot of that hacking out of it. I do think
Uh-huh.
there's going to be a lot more AI introduced in the world of affiliate marketing that can automate things. So imagine this type of future scenario where
Mhm.
you can write the content and you put like this blind, like we already have it with like Google AdSense.
Yeah.
Google AdSense kind of says, well, this is your cookies, so we're going to give you this. But we don't always need cookies because remember, whatever content you created, let's say we're talking about, snowboards. Okay, well, what kind of ads can you put on there? And what are the best converting ads? Like it's only a matter of time before someone's going to create a system, whether it's us or another company, where it's like, okay, AdSense is over here. We've got Amazon Associates and we've got maybe 100 different affiliate networks and different products and services you can sell. Now, which one is going to convert the best? We don't know unless we actually start putting all of them and start testing it. And imagine
Mhm.
we can actually re-rank these things where your actual your data will be powering the rankings of your ads, whether it's a list of
Yeah.
ads or whether it's a single ad. We don't know that answer, but that's what we're working on for our company, where we have a stats app in the background and we're looking to build some ad tools where the two start to talk to each other. And I think this is going to happen whether we do it. Some advanced affiliates have built some of this in-house, but of course you never know that they have it, because you as the researcher, you have to actually go on their websites and go, how are they changing the rankings? We
Yeah.
just assume it's all automated. And there's a lot of
Uh-huh.
wealthy affiliates that they're literally still automating. No, they're not automating. They're manually controlling things to this day. And I believe the future of affiliate marketing is going to have a lot of this automation built in place. We have, in theory, automated content. I'm not sure if I'm a believer that's going to be this perfect thing. I think we're always going to gravitate human to human to always say, okay, we're going to reward you. But the ads, like that's going to be the biggest thing taken away from an affiliate. This is what I
Uh-huh.
think stops affiliates from either getting started or getting started and going to that next level. If you're spending all this time focusing on the tech stack and trying to build these tools and make them perfect, you're missing out on content. And it's like, focus on content, use your Google Analytics to find out which pieces of content are actually getting the most traction. And yeah, just experiment. It'll be a really interesting future if affiliates or content creators can focus on the content and all the ad revenue just kind of works in the background. Like
Yeah.
we trust Google AdSense blindly to make us the most money, but we know other affiliates are going, you know what, I make way more money with Amazon. And then they're like, I make way more money with this other traffic network. Eventually, the data is going to be there. And I do believe there's a future where you won't have to make those decisions anymore. They'll be done automated.
Yeah. And talking about AI, you said you studied AI and robotics, right? So you know a lot about this. Where do you stand when it comes to ChatGPT? And like, I
You know what?
cannot resist trying
Yeah.
to write content with this. It is so like
Yeah.
so nice.
And this is why I kind of wonder if Google's going to feel threatened. Where what is Chat GPT? Is it a content creator or is it a search engine? And I read an article that said you got to think about this new app as being more of a search engine because
Uh-huh.
it can give you results that are far more powerful. So we know that Google today gives you the results based on how they've built Google, like in the last
Yeah.
20 plus years, which
Yeah.
is, your page title and all that. It's listings, but it's content that I create. Now imagine every single piece of content was automated. Okay. Now imagine, this is what I guess Chat GPT is doing is they're taking the best snippets and repurposing it. It's almost like I've done all the research for you in advance, and I'm going to give you an executive summary of what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a far more powerful concept, and it might change the way search happens. And if that does happen, who knows where we stand from this content
Yeah.
point of view. Maybe Google gets destroyed in this process, and sites like LinkedIn and like the social platforms actually gain more power.
Yeah,
I don't
when you
know.
actually have some following, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be more important to be a thought leader in your space. You know, I don't think we can be replaced fully as people, but I think there's going to be a lot of things that, I mean, I have no idea what kind of disruption we're in for, but I think we're all watching this one closely, going, you know, I think people are looking at it more from a content perspective, but I
Yeah.
think we should look at it more from, this is actually a search engine. It's a very powerful
Uh-huh.
search engine, and it has the power to literally dump Google, possibly.
Uh-huh.
And
But
we don't know where this stands. Like, I don't have a strong opinion if this is going to happen for sure, but this was only about a couple of days ago. I actually heard an article or read an article that talked about this being, don't look at it as content creator, look at it as a search engine. It's giving you
uh-huh.
exactly what you want for a search result, and it's curated in the perfect way that it's not even like, when I have my SERP result for my website, I've written it. Now, if I've not done the perfect title and the perfect optimization of like content,
Mm-hmm.
this app over here is actually making it perfect. It's
Yeah.
how do you compete with that?
Yeah, yeah, this is going to be a problem. But now, like, because you create a lot of content, like your team, right? So aren't you going to leverage that in just a bit? Aren't you already using it? It just to some extent. I'm not saying that writing entire articles, but
Yeah,
it makes writing so much faster.
it could, but we're not there yet. Like, I've done a
Uh-huh.
little bit of experimenting with it, but I'm actually sitting in the background because I'm lazy, and I'm watching what other SEO people do. Like, and I'm watching all the videos, like, you know, I'm forgetting all the names, like, you know, Kyle Roof's video
Yeah.
on content AI and how to optimize it, or how to do it where Google's not going to penalize you. So
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot of sites getting penalized because they're getting caught for doing it. And some of the content I look at, I'm like, this. It's hard for me to tell if this is a person or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of sitting in the background going, I'm watching what the other SEO experts have to say about it, and I have less of an opinion. I just read, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
That's
sense, and let's wait and see. But I
that
prefer writing our content where I think there's something that's going to be very difficult to replace, and maybe this is
yeah.
the future of content. We want to become like a bigger data company where we have very strong insights that teach people about the industry of not just gambling but affiliate marketing. And if you come up with this rich data, like, you know, it's beyond surveys. It gets to a point where it's like, these chat bots or these AI bots are never going to be able to produce it. They need data
Mm-hmm.
to get that content.
Yeah.
If you become a data creator, this is why I believe data analytics and data science is becoming more valuable, because at at the end of data become an immense array of content behind it. So that's what I personally enjoy doing. It's like, if I can do data science all day long and produce a report, that report is content on its own. Even if it's just a giant
Yeah.
table, it's like people are like, wow, like I never knew that this is reality. And you can take that, and a company can actually change their whole marketing plan based on this new piece of data. And you know, the content spinoff from it is endless.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So tell me more about your company. Exactly, like how many people work there? What services exactly do you offer? So I guess one of them is like the new tool you are creating.
Yeah, we've got two tools in the background.
Uh-huh.
We have 10 people on our team. We're spread out all over the world. We're not into AI yet, but we want to get in there in the future. But we have one tool that's on the market, which is an affiliate stats aggregator, but it's specifically for just online gambling. So it has
Okay.
800 gambling affiliate programs that you can connect to. So if you
Oh,
imagine you work with 200 affiliate programs, if you want to know how much money you made today, that's a lot of work in logging in, checking the
yeah.
data, and then if you want to store the data, there's no standardization formats to just download the data. You still have to create your own dashboard. Doesn't matter if you want to use Google Data Studio or not. It's a lot of work, and pulling that data automatically it's a nightmare. So we've built that as a standard platform to make life easier for
Oh.
affiliates. So as of today, the app saves you time, but we want to work with affiliates with conversion rate optimization. Go, can I help you make more money? And can I learn from this and build this into the insights in our app, such that, like, you know, Google Analytics is not an insight tool. It just gives you the data. We want to be
Mm-hmm.
the data plus insights, so we can actually help you make more money, and we can actually add annotations. So you can actually go, our app suggested we make these changes. We made the changes, and we've now increased our revenue by 20%. If we can do that as a
Okay.
company, we're doing very good. And the next tool we're looking at launching next year is our ad tool, which is kind of like, can we have your ads re-ranking themselves based on data? And that's what we want to work on.
And have you ever had any of your sites problems with like having too many ads and being penalized by Google?
That's a good question. I've never had that. I've never experienced that myself personally, but I've seen it with other sites. And with too many ads, I've never seen that as actually a problem. I've actually seen it more where it's too many links, and it's
Uh-huh.
do follow links, and it's obvious, what that person was doing. They're basically overselling links. Yeah, in the gambling space, I rarely see penalties. Like, the penalties happen all the time, but the people that I've seen that have been very successful have pushed the limits. Like, they do insane amounts of link building, and they've all said it's been worth the penalties because they get 1
Okay.
year of amazing traffic. They get another 1.5 years of the penalty, but they have another site in the background, and it all balances out. There's been
Okay.
they've all said it's no regrets.
Okay. Okay. And how about Google Core updates? Do those sites, like the sites you have been observing, have they suffered after Google Core updates or the latest Google helpful content update?
There's always movement. So everything that you see on the chatter in the SEO community is the exact same in the affiliate community, because we're all
Uh-huh.
affiliate sites and we're all dependent on
Yeah.
SEO. So whenever these updates happen, we all talk, and sometimes the updates are more profound or more disruptive than
Yeah.
others. Like, some of them are kind of like, they're just minor ripples, and then there's other ones that are total tsunamis where people literally have their business wiped out, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's a sad reality. But I guess it goes without saying, it's do you really want to have, like, all your eggs in one basket? And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a case for going, okay, well, if you're going to push the limits of, your gray hat SEO, it's like, you take your own risk, and, try to create something that you're not dependent on one platform that can zap you, like Twitch, for example.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so at least like have a portfolio of sites and not only rely on Google but on other platforms as well.
It's either that or be so amazing at the one thing that you do that you're not worried about losing, you're not worried about ever being risk that, someone's going to, Google's going to take you out and penalize you.
Do you think it's possible to to be totally not worried? Because I heard like recently a story when someone was actually like having a legitimate affiliate website. They were really like doing the best with that website, but a competitor redirected I don't know how many backlinks at them, and they got a manual penalty. Of course, it was all cleared out. They
Yeah.
explained it to Google, but they lost a ton of money anyway. So it's I would still probably want to have more
Yeah.
websites than one. But
From
then
that
of
point of
course,
view,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. From that point of view, it's worth it. And the more of an industry that has more money behind it, the more of this activity happens. It almost becomes normalized, and
yeah,
it's sad and annoying, but we all kind of accept it because it's been going on for 10 years at least. That I've worked with a lot of affiliate sites that the bigger they get, it's these links come in hard, and it's like 10,000 links all at
yeah.
once. Really bad territories. Sometimes they have a negative effect. I know one person I talked to is an affiliate, and he said their competitor bought all these bad links, and it was like 50,000 links pointing towards them, and it
Uh-huh.
increased their rankings. They
Yes,
went from like number
sometimes
2 to number 1, and they're like, "Thank you." Not
yeah,
always
that's
happening, but
yeah, that's funny story. Okay, so any other tips you can share, like other industries you can recommend going into besides casinos? Do you have
yeah,
any
that's a
like
tough one.
insight?
Yeah, if we're going to talk about gambling, I would say, there's a lot of neglect for lottery, and I don't
For
know why. I
lottery.
think it's because lotteries, it's so built in that we go to the store or you go to your country's lotto regulator.
Mm-hmm.
But those land-based operators, they've taken a long time to get online. Like, there's just so many countries around the world that when they have their lotteries, you still can't go on your phone and get it. And most of them also
Uh-huh.
don't have an affiliate program. So it's like, why am I going to promote you when there's these 10 other real lottery websites that are licensed and regulated,
Uh-huh.
that are kind of like, I don't want to call them offshore, but they're licensed in, let's say, Malta. And it's like, why am I going to send you traffic? You gave me no incentive to promote you, and you have market
Uh-huh.
dominance. So I think lottery is a very strong future. And my tips for anyone else is kind of go find something that you're a bit more passionate about and just kind of combine the two. Like if you're into snowboarding or skiing, then do a skiing blog, and maybe Amazon AdSense is everything you need to do, or you actually have some sponsors as snowboard companies. And the other tips I have, I think it's still going to be video is going to be a very good opportunity for the next few years, where maybe video is our means of combating automated content. It's pretty difficult to maybe we're not there yet, but it'll be a scary future if we can actually automate what we're talking about as if this becomes AI, then we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I think it's already quite easy to generate, for example, with your voice, like to have your voice used to generate some text that you haven't actually said. So I guess with video, it won't be such a huge problem.
Yeah, we need some years before we get there.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, how does your day look like? I'm always interested to see how SEOs spend their days.
Okay, that's a really good question. For the past year, I've been getting up at 5 a.m. I've got some developers, and most of my industry is in Europe. So, I'm in Montreal, so we're a 6-hour time difference. So I like to make sure that I've got a lot of time to connect with as many people as possible. So I get up early, and I don't take that long to get ready. It's like put some gel in the hair, comb it, and then I have a glass of water. I don't eat until like the first hour. I don't have coffee for a couple hours. So I spend a lot of time trying to optimize and hack my own day. So I'm very busy from like 5:30 till noon. I get an insane amount of work done. And then the afternoon's a bit more calm, where I do a couple hours and I take longer breaks. So it's anything that I can do as an edge to, be sharper. It's, I'm becoming more ultra focused. Like we've got 10 people in our company. So I have a lot of people to answer to. I have a lot of customers to answer to. So my day, I think, is going to be changing next year, where I've made a commitment that I want to spend more time talking with customers and being like, hey, let's have these natural conversations, whether they're friendly or whether we're talking about features or things that we can do. So I'm interested in doing these interviews, podcasts, and it's I want to spend more time next year on data science and getting my hands dirty. So it's actually going to be less in the SEO space and more in data, because for me, this is my new SEO space. The more I focus on data and come up with unique insights, that becomes content for us. But it's not just content; it's linkable content. Like you produce a report that opens up in a whole industry's eyes. That's going to generate a lot of links. So I don't focus on SEO as much anymore, other than I know if we make some mistakes on our site, it'll hurt SEO. So I work with the developers to say, make sure that this and that doesn't happen. But yeah, I just want to spend more time with content marketing. And the more I listen to other people and thought leaders, the more I'm going, you know what? I don't know everything, but I want to interview more people in affiliate space, where the more I do this, I'm going to level up my skills.
Yeah, sure. And do you also work over weekends?
Yeah, I do. It's my goal for next year is to start cutting up my time, where there's more of a division of my free time. But this year, it's been probably extra work for a different reason. We bootstrapped our company for the last 5 years, and we decided we want to accelerate our business. So we decided to take on investors, and that whole process has been extremely beneficial. But it's been a part-time job on top of a full-time job. So 10 people, more customers growing, and I've got investors to talk to, and it's pitches and all that stuff. But I will say this: it's probably been the single biggest learning experience I've had in my 20 years of working. Looking for investors, you're learning new terms, you're learning how to sell something different. You're selling an opportunity, you're not selling a product or service. And investors they're just different. And it's like you got to find them, and it's not easy. And you got to learn how this is all done. And we're living in a time where this is becoming almost normalized. You hear venture capital being thrown around like candy, and it's like this might have been around for a long time as a concept, but in the last 10 years, it's really taken off, and it's become something that people that's their whole lives now. It's just venture capital, and it's a really unique space. And for me, it's another lens of business, and I think it really helps what you do internally.
Okay, okay. And can you tell me how do you like get up to date? What are your favorite resources, favorite YouTube channels, people you follow?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I won't focus on too much with YouTube and favorite resources, other than the people that doing podcasts. I'm getting more connected with. Like I just like what they do, and I like watching them on social media to go, how do they network, and what can I learn from
Uh-huh.
them? But the two people that I'm following the most, that I'm learning a ton from this year, that I personally believe other people, whether they're SEOs or people in the B2B space, could learn from,
Mm-hmm.
is a guy named Tom Hunt from fame.so, and another guy's named Justin Rowe, who's got his own. I forget the name of his company, but he does LinkedIn consulting. Like he's a
Uh-huh.
LinkedIn expert, and he's basically turned that into a business. So these two people
Yeah.
are they're giving out a lot of knowledge. They're not It's not SEO knowledge, but it's still extremely valuable. And I believe that what you can learn from them can be applied in other industries, especially SEO.
And how about resources for affiliate SEO, affiliates
Ooh,
generally?
that's a tough one.
You are a good resource, but
I think
other than
I
that,
think I'm a good resource, but another guy who I think is doing a pretty good job is Matt Diggity. So
mm-hmm.
I'm sure maybe you've heard of him. He's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Affiliate Lab, and he's basically not just an SEO, but he's been really focused on affiliate marketing. So I think he's actually taken something that it's a massive niche. It's super big, but when you think about affiliate SEO, it's like a lot of names don't come to mind. Yeah, people that do
Mm.
SEO consulting, and then you've got their own affiliate sites, but no
Yeah.
one's like, "Hey, I'm going to teach you how to do this." It's like
Uh,
those courses are everywhere, but it's not like I'm an SEO that does this, and it's there are a couple of people like Internet Marketing Gold that are doing amazing stuff in that space where it's like SEO plus affiliate marketing is it's money.
yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. Okay, and so where can people find you if they want to follow you? Where
Yes.
are you
So
active?
if you search for my name is a little too common. So
Yeah.
there's probably like 100,000 John Wrights in the world.
Okay.
So if you look for me, john@statsdrone.com is my email. And if you just look for John Wright StatsDrone, you're going to find all my social profiles, especially on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's where I spend most of my time, and that's where I like hanging out. I spend a couple hours a day on there, and I believe right now it's the best B2B networking platform.
Uh-huh. How about Twitter and Mastodon?
I'm not
Are
into
you on
them.
Mastodon?
I'm not on. I'm on Twitter. I'm not on Mastodon yet, but I'm basically picking and choosing which platforms I want to do. And one advice that Tom Hunt recommended that I've been
Uh-huh.
following this year is that you have so many platforms. If you do all of them and you don't do them very well, you're wasting your time. Pick one platform and do it well. This year for me, it's been only LinkedIn. It's like I'm doing
Uh-huh.
YouTube, I'm doing Twitter, Facebook, but LinkedIn, I said, you know what? Let me master this one, and whatever I learn here, I'm going to be able to apply in those other channels. And LinkedIn actually might be all I need.
And what do you do on LinkedIn? Do you like share your advice there? Do you comment on other people's? How do you network there?
Everything. I'm always looking to connect with new people. If you've got something to teach me that I find valuable, direct or indirect, I'm very interested. And yeah, I try to share some knowledge. And as we start producing more data and insights, I'm going to use LinkedIn as a platform to share it, where it's like we've discovered this, or this is a stat that we never knew that existed. That is, we've compiled a set of data. So this stuff I believe is the very exciting part of LinkedIn. That's like business social.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if you saw this interview I had with Anatoly Ultiovsky, I think. And he shared his entire process of how he grew his LinkedIn following to I think he has like 90,000 followers
Whoa.
right now. And he did it like in 2 years maybe. So yeah, you may want to rewatch this one. But he
I'm definitely
basically
going to
said
follow
that
that one.
but basically he said that he was like adding 200, 100 comments on other people's like posts every day.
That's
So
a
a lot
lot.
of consistency there.
I do a lot of comments, but not that much. But if I can learn something from him, I'm definitely gonna tune in.
Yeah, yeah, I think you will. Okay, okay. So, so thank you very much for like spending this time with me. I really learned a ton, and I think other people learned a ton too. And if someone wants to hire you to help them with like to give them some coaching, affiliate coaching, do you do that right
No,
now? You don't.
if you ask me a question, I might turn it into a piece of content to help
Uh
you.
huh.
If I can help you, that's gonna help a lot of people. I'll do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's I've left the SEO consulting game a long time ago, and it's
Okay.
I don't miss it.
Okay. Okay. I get it. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. And thanks everyone. And see you in the next episode. Bye
Thanks
bye.
for having me.